Well, Luna's back, and I'm here to tell you a tale of a dream I had last night. And no, I don't look so good. I haven't showered in a few days, and I've been sick, so you can't judge this. Um, okay, so I had a dream that there was this rich guy, and he was driving me around in his Google mobile. He had like a Google mobile, and he was driving, and I was laying down, like I was on the passenger side in the front seat. My head was in the front, but I was laying down and my feet were in the back. And he had his like he has this guy that does all this stuff for him, like his the guy that does things for rich people. You know how rich people have someone they're just like there all the time. So he was in the back behind the driver. And then I'm laying there in the front, got my head down, and my legs are going back. And then when we drove and we got to his place, and I was intimidated by it. He was on his phone the whole time, and I think he used this hand to talk actually, and this hand to drive. And he was on the phone telling people what to do. And he said they lost $1 million last month, but he didn't seem to care too much. So I knew, he did a lot of deals with a lot of money, and I was like, wow. And then we went to his house, and it was super nice. And he went somewhere, like I don't know where, somewhere else, and there was a shower in his family room, a shower stall, and I thought I needed a shower. And I thought, well, he's off doing what he's doing. I'll just take a shower and I'll be done by the time he's back. And so I took a shower, and then I remembered, okay, so I was in the shower and I was washing my hair, and I washed my hair with shampoo. And then for some reason I thought this isn't enough, and I thought I needed to run bar soap through my hair. So I started to run bar soap through my hair, and I was doing that, but then all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, it's Irish Spring. And I can't be around Irish Spring at all. And I'm like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I have Irish Spring in my hair. So I'm trying to get it out, but it was all like chunky and stuff, and I couldn't get it out of my hair. And then I like realized, I like looked down, and there's chunks of it in my coat. I had a fake fur coat on. And I'm like, oh man, I can't get it out of my coat either. And I'm like, wait, what am I doing wearing my coat in the shower? And then I realized I was fully dressed, and I'd taken a shower without my clothes on. And I was like, oh well. But then I got out of the shower, and I was trying to figure out how to dry myself off when I was all wet. My clothes were all wet. My fake fur coat was soaking wet. It had like this really long fake fur. It was supposed to be fake looking. And the only kind I'd ever wear, and I wouldn't even wear that actually. And then and so I'm doing that, and then all of a sudden I look at the ground, and I realize I've completely flooded his entire posh family room. Like he has these real nice carpets and rugs and couches, and I've flooded everything. It's like water like that deep by the shower. And I was like, and I looked up, and there was like a floor mat hanging over the shower, and I was like, oh, I guess I was supposed to use that. And I didn't. And then I realized I'd forgotten to shut the shower door, that I'd taken the shower not only with my clothes on, but with the shower door open, and so all the water had gone everywhere. And um and so I was trying to clean it up, and I was like, oh crap, because this dude, he's like rich, and all his stuff is probably $1 million. And so I was trying to clean it up, and then his like little right hand man guy came in, and I was like, oh man. But then you could tell he was irritated with me. He like didn't even talk to me, but he started like helping clean it up. Like he just realized that's what needed to get done. But you could tell he was not pleased with me at all. And so we're cleaning it up and stuff. And then the big guy came back, the guy with all the money, and he came back. And by then I was sitting on the couch. I was trying to figure out what was wrong with my feet because they weren't even. And what it turned out to be, so I was wearing two pairs of socks, one pair over another pair, and the pair on the bottom were strawberry shortcake socks, and I was missing one. And then the right hand man guy, he found one of my socks floating off in a puddle of water somewhere. And so he like carried it up like that, like he was all grossed out by it, and he just like hands it to me. And you could tell he didn't want to touch it or anything, because it was my sock. And so then I tried putting it on, but they were both watching me, and I was nervous, so I put the sock on upside down so the heel part was on top. And and then I had to fix that. And then I was embarrassed because they saw I wore strawberry shortcake socks, and then I also, because I wore two pairs of socks, because then I pulled on my knee socks over the strawberry shortcake socks, which were shorter socks, like like not ink above the ankle, but whatever. And and everything I did was just mortifying. I messed up his house. I wore strawberry shortcake socks. I lost one of my socks somehow in the flood of taking a shower, and then And then the fact that I wore 2 pairs of socks, like I just felt so unworthy, and it was horrible. And then that's like the last thing I remember, I think, from the dream. But yeah, the whole time I was like, at first it started out good. He was like, he wasn't really talking to me because he was on his phone the entire time doing business calls, but he was like carting me around with him, which I was like, oh, I'm being carted around with this guy, you know. Mm. But then, but then I screwed everything up, taking a shower and doing all that, messing up his whole house, and then the sack thing. So yeah, so then I was like, oh, he probably doesn't want to cart me around anymore. But I don't know, because the dream ended. That was my dream. And so today is September 24th, and this is still mortifying. And I wish it was darker out. That way this wouldn't show. But there's light coming in, even though I have the shades down, so it shows. Oh, this is goop in my face all right here. Somebody decided that a nice straight line right here would be a nice idea, and then something like that. Why? I don't know. But we've discussed that before. So, I don't know. I guess I might try to go for a bike ride today. It's what would have been a roller skating night a year ago, because it's Wednesday. But now it's hide and shame night, as it is every night. And because of this, and over here too, depending on if the light were hitting it over here, that would show. Hide and shame night sucks. And I know someone who went in the hospital on Monday from taking over the counter cough syrup, and she would probably tell me to live no matter what my face looks like. But it's hard. I'm trying, but it's hard. I mean, oh man, things used to be good. Maybe someday. So that's my update for today. That was my dream. My throat's a little better. My nose is a little better. I think I'll be able to go back to work tomorrow. Yay. What a prize. That's the prize for getting better.